Hi everyone, welcome back, and this morning I just wanted to show you our section box. So this is a Thorne Beehives section box. It's designed for a Langstroth hive. They are available in pretty much all the different hive types that are out there, and this takes 28 square sections on our Langstroth hive, and this is a section. And you can see this one is already loaded with our foundation. So this is cut comb foundation. You can buy the sections themselves and the pre-cut foundation to go in them. All available on the Thorne Beehives website, and we'll pop some links into our description beneath the video so you can have a look at those. But it actually makes quite a nice presentation pack of honey, and I guess if you're producing honey for friends and family, then it's a really nice gift idea. But more than that, if you're producing honey to sell, maybe through local shops or through local markets, farmers markets, that kind of thing, then it works really well as a premium product. So this is going to have a much higher value than its own weight in honey for obvious reasons. Now, this particular section, personally, I have no idea what it will hold in terms of weight of honey, because this is the first time in all the years that I've been beekeeping that we've ever tried using a section box. So we've brought it down to our borage pollination site to pop it on one of our colonies to see if we can get them to draw out this foundation and fill it full of borage honey for us. But once it's fully drawn, filled with honey and capped over, this is going to represent a very valuable item for you to sell either on your website, through markets or shops that you supply. So we've got 28 sections in this Langstroth box, and you can buy the different components separately. And just to illustrate really how it all fits together, because all of these boxes are different shapes, you have these blanking plates which fit in at the end and the side. And then you have these rather ingenious little spring-loaded clips that push down the side and just hold everything together in place. And you'll see that one is probably higher than the other, and in this instance I'm using the taller one in the bigger gap down the edge, and then this one down the narrow side along the length of the box. So if I hold this up, now that I've got that secured, I can show you the bottom, and it's basically an open box with these 3 slats fixed across to hold the sections in place. And you can probably see we've got some white plastic strips, and they divide the sections from each other, and I can show you that more clearly if I turn it over. If I take out this blanking plate that sits on the end and then just move some of these sections away, that's the plastic strip that fits in between the 4 sections in a row, and that simply slots in, and it's shaped so that the bees can get around it, but that face fits tight up against a section, the adjacent section, and that holds it in place and stops the bees from joining those 2 sections together. So once you've got your little spring clips in place, everything is nice and firm, and it can go into the hive. Now, these sections come in the flat. You can buy the box ready made up, fully fitted with these sections. but they come as a flat piece of wood that's already been cut and trimmed, ready to fold. Now, having watched how these go together, you need to moisten the hinges. We'll shoot a video showing how these go together. You moisten the hinges so that they will fold without snapping, and then it has these little sections, joins on the end, tiny little joints which then fix it in place quite nicely. So this, I believe, is called an English section. There's also an Irish section, and I think the difference between the two is that the English section has one divided side, whereas the Irish section has 3 divided sides. So we'll see if we can fit one of these pieces of foundation into one of these sections. So here's our section in the flat, as it were, and we've got this hinged section that's being cut into 2, and then the rest kind of folds up. Now, these really need to be moistened on the hinge so that they don't snap, but just to demonstrate this one, take your piece of foundation, and if you look at the cell structure on it and have the cells so that you've got 2 sides of the cell pointing upwards, that's the way you want to have it set up, so that that points to the top. And then literally it's kind of a balancing game where you have to pull up the sides, get them to sit on the foundation. So we've got the bottom and the 2 sides now fitted together, and having not really done this before, when you look at the section top, which is divided into 2, it's cut at an angle. So there's one section which is kind of sloping towards me, and slightly difficult for you to see that, I appreciate. But what I've been doing is folding the first top section down, and then using my finger and a little bit of pressure, just kind of easing that hard against the wax and pulling the wax against it. And that seems to help in holding it in place. And then really it's just a case then of pushing that top down. Now, what has happened, as I found out recently, is that if you don't get that wax to sit nicely against this flap at the top, it can buckle the foundation. So you have to maybe practice, have a bit of a play around with it. But once you get it in place, you can then kind of fiddle around the edges and get it to sit as flat as you possibly can. And that's for what we're doing this year. I think we're not trying to produce these for the National Honey Show, certainly not as yet. And so as long as I've got this section in and settled in place, then I'm quite happy with that. And then that can go back into the box and it's ready to go onto the hive. So we're going to get our suits on and light the smoker, head over to the hives. We're going to have a look at one of the colonies that had cut comb on it, and if that colony has produced more of those cut comb frames, maybe even starting to cap some of that honey off, we might pop this section box on that colony. But we'll have a look. We're going to have a look through the colonies, but we'll catch up with you when we've had a look through some of them and we've found a colony that we can put this section box on. We've been working our way through some of the colonies, and I've chosen this colony to put the section box on, and the reason for that is fairly straightforward really. We've got plenty of bees here, you can see them milling around here at the moment, and this colony only had one super. That super is filling up really well, so they'll run out of space fairly soon. So what we need to do is to try and force them down into this section box, which is going to sit on top here, like so. Now the bees will come up through the sections and, with a little bit of luck, settle on that foundation and start drawing the comb out in each of these little section squares. I think the important thing is really that we need lots and lots of bees, and so we've selected this colony because they do have a lot of bees in the brood box out foraging, and we've got several frames of capped brood, sealed brood, where we're going to have that emerge over the next week or so, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will coincide with a nectar flow on the borage, and we'll eventually get these drawn and hopefully have some nice sections to show you in due course. So that's it for this video at the moment. We'll come back maybe in a couple of weeks and have a look at this section box, see how they've got on with it. Who knows what the results will be. Hopefully positive and successful. Before we go, my thanks to the guys at Thorne Beehives over in Rugby for supplying us with this section box. Hopefully we can reward them by showing some fantastic sections in a couple of weeks' time. So if you have any questions, then do pop them beneath the video. I'll pop a link in the description beneath the video to take you to the Thorne Beehives website to show you this section box. And if you're having a go at sections or Ross rounds, then do leave a comment and let me know how you're getting on, and we'll catch up next time. Thanks for watching.